Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to your favorite mummy on the internet with the crappiest recording equipment. Today, gentlemen, I have one of the best videos that I have ever covered, unironically, and I found it yesterday on TikTok. I had it scheduled for today, and I know that Taylor just uploaded a video containing this woman, right? So probably some of you will have already seen it, but guys, even if you have, Taylor didn't cover the ending of this video, which is very telling, both for understanding female nature and to understand men in dating. So this is a brilliant TikTok all throughout, and I recommend you join me for the ride, me and Ampu. So this woman lost a man to the red pill. Let's cover it, gentlemen.
Who are all the women who lost their male partners to red pill content? Because I want to know what happened.
Yeah, I'm right here. I lost one of the loves of my life. One of my best friends, had known him over 20 years, since before we were born, to red pill content, and I want to talk about it today. I do think it's important to educate people and keep them aware of this. Well, it was like a 5-10 year long process, so strap in. And I think one of the hardest parts wasn't accepting losing him, but having to accept that, like, this person, these ideologies were inside him the whole time. So his name was Jared. We grew up on streets near each other, and our families knew each other before we were born because we were all homeschooled. So obviously when we were little, I had a big old crush on him because he was the only boy my age I had ever spoken to, but he had no interest in me because he was a little kid. So for a lot of the middle years, he goes back into school. We don't talk. He's in the grade above me. But once we get into high school, we actually reconnect somehow, and I forget how, but I'm a total nerd in high school, and he is like a hockey jock. But he was always a really sweet kid. So for a while, I believed him when he swore his hockey friends must have stolen his phone in the locker room and sent this message to me on Snapchat that said, "Why don't you make yourself useful and send over a pic?" And when I was like, this is really random, like, this doesn't seem like even your verbiage, what's going on, dude? They blocked me on everything on his phone. So we didn't talk for several years after that, and I found it a little bit weird that, like, dude, we were talking every single day, and you didn't even think to look me up and notice I wasn't even in your phone anymore? But anyways, he gets dumped by a girl who absolutely shatters his heart on college, and we actually reconnect because we match on Tinder. And at this point, he is emo, right? He has all the bracelets. He listens to heavy metal. He is very atheist. He has a lot of Satan stars and whatnot. He is the furthest point in the universe from the typical red pill boy.
So we have a picture drawn here, gentlemen. All the checks are in place. He is satanic, has never cared about her, is on Tinder, meeting with other women. He is athletic, right? She mentioned hockey, whatever. He's the typical bad boy, right? All the checks are in place, gentlemen. This is the type of men that these women are attracted to. And I love how she mentions that apparently they used to talk, but suddenly his friends blocked her, and this guy didn't realize for years. Didn't care, most probably. And yet she's infatuated with her. It's just absolutely infatuated with him, excuse me. It's just absolutely clownish, guys, what these women are doing. Meanwhile, while we talk, this woman could be with some other man that she has on read on her DMs, but no, it's the usual check all the boxes, bad boy, athletic, probably handsome, who doesn't care to remember her name.
So when he's back in town, we actually go on some dates, and he gets really sick, so I bring him over some soup and, like, some cookies that my grandma, who I was living with at the time, homemade, and we have some really cute, like, cuddling, watching TV, nothing else sort of dates. And it was just like old times. And then after that, he actually kind of rejects me by ghosting me a little bit, but he wants to remain friends, and I'm fine with that because we were friends our whole life. And the more I get to know about him in that point, the more I realize it's probably for the best, because he's in a lot of therapy at that point, which is very important, because he has such bad anxiety and depression and things like that that he can't even leave his home to go out in public. And also, he's still obsessed with this girl who has blocked him on everything, and he won't tell me why. But one day he says he found her address and he wants to write her a letter because he thinks it'll be super duper romantic and win her back.
Okay, just to be honest, because I'm an honest person, this guy is also a clown. I don't understand why both men and women chase after people that are not interested in them. So the same thing that I mentioned about this woman, that she's a clown for chasing a guy who never cared about her, the same applies to this man. I just don't understand why people chase after someone that is not interested in them. Bro, have some self-respect. And guys, this applies to everyone. Just can you all, not you particularly, but people in general, can you please stop chasing people who don't care about you? I don't understand why people do this.
He had this tendency to do that, right? Like, romanticize all of his actions, when from the outside, like, this girl has blocked you on everything, she has told you not to contact her, and now you're tracking down her address. And I tried to explain to him that that's kind of terrifying behavior. But I don't think he listened to me. I do think he sent the letter, and I don't think anything ever came of it. But at this point, he decides he needs to completely change his life. I think his therapist suggested getting into working out, which is the beginning of the slippery slope. So again, he's still in college, living mostly in his parents' basement. He's spending thousands of dollars now on gym equipment and getting really into working out. And watching like male motivational videos, to which I believe around this time too, he decides that he doesn't need to go to therapy anymore. And I was like, no, you still can't really leave your home, dude, and you have a lot of issues. Like, you definitely are not done with that. But again, he thinks that after...
Guys, fuck therapy, alright? I think it's a useful tool, I think it can work, but there's so many people that think that therapy is like this magical genie that just by going there, it will solve your life. No. If there's any point in therapy, and you have to have a good therapist, not just some clown sitting there, cashing in $60 an hour just for listening to you, you have to apply the things that you learn there, and what they do really is just teach you how to solve the problem on your own. They won't solve it for you, which is a lot of people's beliefs. It's like the gym. If you don't go there and learn the exercises and practice them correctly, just by going, alright, and doing some exercise poorly for 1 hour, you're not gonna get jacked, right? So it's the same thing. Therapy, extremely overrated. Not every therapist works. And all of these people that have ADHD and depression, which is the norm nowadays, like every second person has to have one of those. Anxiety, depression, or ADHD. Extremely over-prescribed, right? So no, going to therapy won't magically solve your life. And instead, all these people crying about those things, guys, if they were, unironically, if they go and touch some grass and look at the sun for a while, they will get better, all right? And I know many of you will disagree with me, and the general consensus is that is bullcrap advice, but it's not. You can't be happy watching your phone for 10 hours a day and having a bad sleep schedule, bad eating habit. You can't be okay with that. We are biological machines. We have chemistry inside of us, you know, the hormones and all that. You need sun. You need to go outside. You need to have good friends. Otherwise, you're going to feel like crap, and it's normal. And going to therapy won't solve that. So all these people whining about their overprescribed mental conditions, go touch some grass. If you do it for a consistent amount of time, you'll see that you don't need 4 different types of pills to be happy. Is my thought, gentlemen, but you let me know.
Like a short period of time, he's just completed therapy. And around this time, a couple of his friends ask how we reconnected too, because it's a question to ask. And I jokingly am like, well, we went on a couple dates and Jared rejected me, and he insists that never happened. Like, he refuses to, like, he denies it to his core that he ever rejected me. I was like, it's fine, it's funny, and I'm fine with it. But anyways, we're seeing other people, we're just friends. And around this time is when I met Basement Eric, the one who SA'd me and tried to kidnap me and keep me locked in his basement, right? So that causes a lot of damage. And my brain doesn't trust me to be around boys anymore.
I don't even want to know what's the story with that, right? And it's also probably overreacted, and she's being over dramatic. I don't think that someone literally tried to lock her in a basement. But you see the kind of life that she's living, right? Which is the kind of life that most women nowadays live. Excuse me. It's going on a lot of dates with multiple people, multiple strangers, and they cannot shut their mouths about how that is their path to marriage, you know? Oh, it's improving me, I'm learning so many things in my healing era and stuff like that. In reality, they're just dating a bunch of bad boys that use them like S3X dolls, and that's what they will ever be, right? So you can see that this woman, you can see the effect that dating multiple people is having on her. She's not becoming more wifey material, she's becoming less of it. And she has no pair bonding ability left.
So eventually I have to explain to Jared like why I'm always sitting on the opposite side of the room or not really seeing him anymore. And he decides again in his brain, which he has made himself out to be a good person in this scenario and coming from a good place, that he can fix me actually. Because you just didn't get hugged enough as a child and you aren't shown the proper amount of affection. So he starts forcing me to like cuddle with him and hug him even when I tell him no and to stop. And from all the working out, he's becoming a very large man that I can't fight anymore, and so it's starting to get scary when he doesn't listen to me. And he also starts making this frequent joke that we need to go out on like formal friend dates because like I just deserve to be loved and shown love. Which again, I believe came from a good place, but I was like, no, like I've been on real dates. Like I've been on fine dates. It's fine. I've been on a good date before. Like I love you, dude, but you also still refuse to leave your home to go to most places, so it wouldn't work out anyways. So because his behavior towards me is actually making my issues worse at the time, I'm in a lot of intensive therapy myself for this. I have to distance myself or make sure that his other friends are around whenever we're hanging out because he doesn't do any of this stuff in front of his other friends. And an interesting note is now that he's moved home after college, instead of hanging out with his more left friends from college, he's just hanging out with his high school friends that all are on the right. And that starts to really speed up his change in behavior. And around this time, we're both dating and seeing other people, and he never really likes any of my partners, which is fair. I had a lot of duds. But the difference is every time I had a boyfriend, I really wanted to connect him with Jared. Like, I wanted them to be friends, because isn't that the goal? He finds a partner, I find a partner, you and your best friend, like, we all live happily ever after together.
Yeah, hello boyfriend, welcome to my house. Why don't you meet Jared, this guy that used to knock me up and feel me like a Thanksgiving turkey? Yeah, why don't you meet him and you shake hands and all that? Disgusting, gentlemen. This woman where you see her right now has probably double upper digit body count, you know, S3 actual encounters. Just no pair bonding with its left. I don't even know her age, mid-20s probably, and she's already unuseful. All she'll ever be is an S3X toy, like something that people will use to satisfy their lust. It's all she'll ever be. That's what she wanted. And she doesn't even see a problem with it. You know, guys, I was just, you know, meeting other people. He was meeting other people. We're just messing around, mentions it casually, like it's the norm, like this is healthy behavior. Absolute ruin of a person.
Together, but no, because whenever he got a girlfriend, I was never allowed to meet her, no matter how many times I begged and asked. And also every time he got a girlfriend, of course, she was blonde, my height, and he kind of stopped talking to me when he was dating them. Or at least he stopped forcing me to cuddle him all the time, which was a win for me. Also, the cuddling stopped.
Yes, because he understands how respect works in a relationship. I don't know, have you been cuddling with him while you had boyfriends? What is going on here, guys? Oh, he didn't talk to me. Yeah, because he has a girlfriend. He's not going to be entertaining all the women, right? This guy, at least for all the clownish things he's done, at least he has some self-respect and some respect towards his partner.
Stuff started again shortly after I started hanging out with him more, but I was able to deal with it then because time had passed. He'd also slowly started using like alpha male, beta male lingo. Like he's hanging out with his gym friends 24/7. They have daily fitness, eating, you know, they have everything mapped out on an Excel spreadsheet. They're constantly on the grind. He's he's leaning into alpha, beta, all that terminology. I'm starting to get increasingly worried. And then he gets a new girlfriend. And this girlfriend is super religious, super conservative, right? And all of a sudden, out of the blue, Jared suddenly is talking about being religious and going to church. He's going and playing tennis and doing all these things that I've never heard of him doing before. And he's starting to say some of the concerning things he would just let slip when he was one-on-one with me out loud now.
Yeah, guys, he's starting to do all those bad things, you know, like playing tennis, going to the gym, eating healthy, having a religious girlfriend, all those bad things that he started doing instead of sitting home all day listening to metal. Not that there's anything wrong with metal, but you know, sitting at home all day depressed, eating pills, seeing his therapist. Instead of that happy life that he used to live, now he's doing all those bad things. So again, we all understand why this woman is very concerned for him. And even though these terms, I find them cringe, the alpha, beta, I sometimes mention alpha, high value man, but I find these terms to be cringe. So this man is a bit cringy, but regardless of that, I'm so happy for him that he substituted his miserable, pathetic life for the dream life. Like, I would want every man to have an inner circle of friends that he goes to the gym with, he talks with them, he eats healthy. She even mentions, I don't know if ironically, that he has like a spreadsheet with things he does. Absolutely fantastical. He has learned discipline, you know, but of course she is worried for him because she is a lefty. Let's continue now.
I remember our very last FaceTime. He FaceTimed me after he was playing tennis with his girlfriend. I was talking about a date I had gone on, but we didn't really click, and he starts going like, you need a beta male because you have like an alpha energy. See, I'm an alpha male, so I need like a beta housewife. It's like I'm just stunned by everything that's coming out of his mouth all of a sudden. And then at some point, I kind of must have made the comment that I was like a little bit concerned about all the conservatives and the things he's been hanging around for him to say this. And he utters the phrase, well, technically, like, voting conservative is the most alpha male thing you can do, right? Because, like, you're voting to suppress minorities and women. You're maintaining your seat at the top. And in that singular moment, all hope in my body left, and I disconnected from the conversation entirely.
Now, it's true that this man is very cringe, guys. I can't defend him there. But it's true that being conservative nowadays is like, you know, being the opposition. It's cool. It's considered cool because instead of going with the masses, you're actually standing out for yourself, and you are standing for some rules and for some... I'm not talking about politics here, just having a conservative mindset. You know, you're prioritizing a certain lifestyle and certain values. Meanwhile, what are the values in these woke people exactly? Can someone pinpoint one? Because all I can think of are these extremely general bullshit statements like live and let live. What a bullcrap statement. That doesn't really mean anything. Oh, live and let live. What's the other one? Carpe diem, you know, or live by the day. Which is, it's everything is so hedonistic and sad. It's just sad what woke people believe in. Well, they don't believe in anything. All their statements, guys, really don't mean anything. What's another one? Just allow people to be happy. Oh, if they're not hurting anyone, they're not doing anything wrong. It's just, everything is so bad. It's so bad. They have no rules in their life. They don't follow any discipline, any laws, any nothing, just nothing, which is essentially bad because life itself has some rules. All right, and it's something that you will see with these women a lot. They think that because they are really woke and empowered and modern, that they can change life. No, you won't change life. You will still hit the wall at 30. You will still be unable to have children over 40. And you will still end up single because you're a witch. You cannot change that, no matter how woke you are, no matter how much of a boss baby you are, because there are certain rules to life. And it's what these, you can call them whatever you want, leftists, woke people, it's what they fail on. They think that they can change nature. Notice how they do that with the pronouns. Oh, because now I say that I'm a woman, I am one. No, you are not one. You're still a male. Whatever you want to think about it, you're still a male, no matter what pronouns you put in your TikTok bio. All right, so this man is following some discipline now, and yes, that is cool. All right, it's cool to follow discipline. It's cool to set some rules for your life that you must abide with, even though they're not the easiest thing. That's the whole part of it, gentlemen. It's like being conservative nowadays is like the harder path. You know, it's not the easy path of I'm gonna do whatever I want because instant gratification is so easy and comfortable. No, I'm gonna go this longer path that is harder to go with, but I believe that the benefits will be better at the end. All right, so now let's continue, guys.
Did not try to continue to engage. I just made a natural exit. Because also, sir, you are the furthest thing from an alpha male I've ever met. Like, you can barely leave the house, and now this girl has entirely changed your personality. And two, you are Asian. Now, you are half Asian, but if a white right male looked at you, he would say you are Asian. You are the minority that you are saying you're voting to suppress, sir. But I just let it go. I didn't say any of that because I knew in that moment he was too far gone. After that, I no longer took any of his texts and phone calls, and I finally reached out to one of his other girl friends to ask if he had ever done any of this to her, because he always insisted to me, like, cuddling and whatnot is just what friends do. Like, it's totally normal. She said that was weird. She said that she had never seen him act that way to her before. Like, I don't know why, but he was only doing this stuff to me. After
I don't know why, she says, because he was using you. I know, guys, is it that hard? Am I a detective? Can I apply to be a detective after coming to this realization? Oh, I don't know why. Because you were his S3X boy. That's the bottom line.
got that confirmation, I sat down and I wrote a thick Google Doc text to send to him, to be very clear as to why I am cutting communication with him. I am terrified of him. I am terrified of his behavior, the man he has grown into. I am disappointed. I lost my best friend, and he's become this person I don't even recognize or feel safe around anymore. I have to just accept that that boy that I shared so much of my life with, that I loved, is completely gone. I'm never gonna get him back, and I think about him all the time, and I feel like a part of me is just gone. And I'm so sorry that I can't let you back. But if you see this, I love you, and I really hope that you get better. I apologize that I couldn't really finish the story, but luckily that's pretty much the end of it, and you guys finally found out, like, the one thing I can't talk about very easily. But also, look, I bought new plants, so yay, new plants, replace men with plants.
Sorry, gentlemen. I was going to put on my sad voice, oh guys, this woman. But the bit about replace men with plants just is hilarious. I'm gonna be replaced by a ficus, guys. But jokes aside, forget about replacing men with plants. I just love it how these women are always infatuated, like they cannot stop thinking about that man who never cared about them. You can go back, listen to the whole story again. Tell me one moment in which this man cared about her. He didn't care back in high school. He didn't care after they blocked her and he didn't talk to her for years. He didn't care after that short while after they met on Tinder in which he used her. He doesn't care now. Madam, he never cared about you. Never considered you to be an option. Oh, I can't stop thinking about him, all crying, all sobbing. I cannot stop, I love him. Yeah, because of course you do. Because women, guys, I don't know, maybe they will explode if they don't go for the bad boy who never cared about them and instead go for one of the multiple men sitting in their DMs. They will just explode and be annihilated. I don't know, maybe someone is forcing them at gunpoint. Maybe the FBI is forcing them to go for the bad boys. I don't know. There's some conspiracy theories here. But outside of that, yeah, he never cared about you. And look, gentlemen, you can call this left and right, liberalism and conservatism. You can call it blue pill and red pill. You can call it, gentlemen, whatever you want. But there is one path that leads to success, to liberty, to freedom, to sanctity, to joy, all right? And that is the path on which this man ended on. He went from being a miserable, depressed, sad and pathetic Satanist. No, not really a Satanist, but, you know, like a goth, emo, sad person that had no self-respect, no friends, eating pills all day, going to therapy. He went from that, never leaving his house, to getting jacked, you know, being physically active, eating healthy, having a good circle of friends. He ended up with a Christian woman, all right, that probably doesn't have the body count that this woman right here has. Like, can you notice the difference between the life that he used to have, the life that he has now? So these are the two paths. Call them whatever you want. It's not about politics, really. It's about following the rules of life. And the red pill helps you achieve that. And this woman doesn't like it. I love how she sees him succeeding in every aspect in life in which he used to be miserable, and she's sad about it, right? Because she doesn't want him to actually have his life in order. No, she wants him to be dependent upon that therapist that never worked for him. And she says, oh, I'm still going to a lot of therapy. How is it working for you? Because I see you being extremely miserable, right? So make your choice, gentlemen. Here you have the two paths. You can be a lefty, woke soy boy that believes in the current narrative, that believes in anything people tell them to believe, that goes with the current, that goes where the mass goes. Or you can stop to think for a minute and understand how dating works, understand how women work, understand how important the gym is, understand the dynamics between men and women, all right? And again, it has nothing to do with any sort of politics or religion. It doesn't have to do with Christianity. A lot of people find the meaning in life in other things, but the meaning in life is always something deep, all right? It's not carpe diem. That's not the meaning of life. The meaning of life is not live and let live. So follow your morality, follow your deeper vision of things, you know? And this man actually succeeded. You can see a real life example of someone that went from 0 to 100. Well, this woman will stay with her plants that she will substitute by cats in a while, because her dating life is just crap. One important thing worth pointing out, and is the reason why I feel some sort of sympathy towards this woman, it's because she's a victim. And you may ask, Hidan, isn't she the perpetrator? Isn't she allowing herself to be indoctrinated by womanism? Well, guys, if you were to ask me who is to blame for the dating situation, if it's men or women, really, the real answer to that is none of them. In my opinion, guys, it's the globalist, right? Feminism is just one of the many tools that the globalists have used to split apart families. And the most successful one, honestly, like, feminism has been the most destructive crap to ever hit stable families, all right? But because the globalist, the family is the strongest opposition to the globalists and their plans for the world. The family is the strongest thing against them. So they don't want that. They don't want women who are strong, who teach the younger generation, who grow strong women and men. They don't want that. They don't want a woman that knows her business, right? What they want is what you saw in the video. They want a pathetic, weak, and malleable woman that believes in the current narrative, that follows it, that believes that feminism is the key to success and happiness, that believes that serving under a manager is the biggest life goal, that one trip that they can afford a year, that one vacation to the beach is their ultimate goal. That's what the globalists want. Again, they don't want strong families raised by strong women. No, they want exactly this, a consumer. This is what women have become. They have become cat breeders. They have become just consumers that increase the stock market price of boxed wine. And look at the way they spend their money. All their money goes towards consumism. They just spend all day. Oh, all my money is for myself, for my vacations, for this, for that. That's exactly what they want, just another consumer. And they've made women to be pathetic, to be undateable, guys. They are just undateable. Even if you wanted to, you couldn't date them. Even if you decide to marry them, they will divorce you. Globalists have succeeded. They have won. They have made most of the women in the West absolutely undateable. And even if you were to marry them for some inexplicable reason, they'll just divorce you. And look at the way the globalists have played their cards. They don't even have to support women after they get divorced. It's you who have to pay them. It's you who ends up paying alimony and child support. They've played their cards perfectly. And the same applies to men. For men, what the globalists want is simps. They don't want strong men who are leaders of families, who set boundaries, who lead their family. No, no, no. They don't want men to lead. They want they to lead, you know? So they don't want strong men. They've made us to be alone and to not be able to raise children and have families like people used to do in the past. What they want out of a man is for him to be a simp, to work all day and then go spend that money on watching a female Twitch streamer that has her boobs on display. That's what they want, for men to be pathetic and malleable and sad and miserable, and to go see their therapist. Oh, don't worry, just go see your therapist and eat all those pills, you'll get better. That's what they want. So that's the whole thing. And feminism, as we all know, has never been about equality, never, not from the first day. It has also never been about empowering women. No, it's the total opposite. What feminism is and has been always is a tool to split families, because they are too dangerous for the globalist. And they have succeeded, guys. Like, that's the saddest news. They have succeeded. Mostly they started with women, but men also allowed this to happen. Humanity as a whole couldn't withstand the indoctrination Kids are no longer learning at home. They are learning in those, government buildings where they indoctrinate children to believe in whatever shit they teach them nowadays. Universities no longer serve any purpose whatsoever. You're just giving money to your university. I mean, there are some careers. I don't want to be that extreme about it. There are some careers that are still worth it, but most careers are just so they can control you for a longer period of time. All right? Everything is about control for these globalists. And again, they have succeeded in tearing the family apart, in making both men and women miserable, sad, and alone. All right? And yes, it's women who have a bigger control. Because if they wanted a traditional man, they could find one, because still the amount of traditional men is bigger than the amount of traditional women. So yes, they have more power, thus they have more responsibility. But I wouldn't blame them for the downfall. I will blame the globalist, because that's what feminism is. It wasn't started by women, it was started by globalists, and it has been a destructive tool. But gentlemen, before we end the video, I want to read some of the comments left on this video. First comment says, "Metalhead to red pill is diabolical." This is the most liked comment. I don't know why. I am both red pilled and my favorite music is metal. So I don't know, is that like kind of shocking? What do these people think that red pills listen to? Ariana Grande, Nicki Minaj? I don't know. Second one, "As a man, I am convinced that this red pill garbage is designed to recruit weak/insecure men to the far right. It scares me." Oh, this soy boy is scared, gentlemen. Also, I want you to know, for the next time someone asks you what's your political affiliation, I want you to tell them that you are far right, all right? You're a far right extremist if you go to the gym. That's apparently far right. Also, having the most minimum and basic expectations and standards towards women is far right. Again, it's extreme far right to hold women accountable or to avoid them when they are red flags. All right, I want you to know that, guys. Another one says, "Red pill is based in insecurity. They just turn that inner hatred outwards and stop thinking of themselves as someone in need of growth." What? Like, you literally saw this man grow in every aspect, in every single aspect, and you make this shitty comment. I really don't understand these people, guys. Another one here says, this is a woman actually, "Men are incredibly emotionally underdeveloped and they fall into the red pill groomers." Guys, if there's something I love, is a woman telling men they are emotionally undeveloped. All right, this is the equivalent of like a 5-year-old boy telling a 47 grown-ass man with a beard that he is immature and that he doesn't understand life. It's the same thing. The only difference being that a 5-year-old kid doesn't have his brain fully developed, so we kind of expect out of him to not know these things. I would expect grown women to have their brain developed, but apparently it's not the case when they're making these stupid statements. No, women are the emotionally undeveloped, all right? Another one here says, "This is my exact fear," and this is the last comment that we'll read. "This is my exact fear of my oldest son. He has changed. I feel he is simply slipping away from me. Excuse me. I'm losing my friend and son. I'm so sorry this happened to you." I love how people, instead of being worried about the dating scene being absolute trash, instead of worrying that these modern women, if their sons get involved with them, will end in divorce, will end losing their material aspects, will end miserable, will lose their sanity. Instead of being worried that the vast majority of women in the West are undateable, no, they're not worried about that for their sons. They're worried that their sons may receive actually some advice from some dude on the internet. That's what's on these mothers' minds, probably single mothers as well. Yeah, they're not worried about the epidemic of male loneliness, male singlehood that we are seeing. They're not worried about the devastating effects that society is having on men and how society is actively pushing to fight against men. That doesn't worry them. It's absolutely fantastic, gentlemen. But we'll end the video here, guys. thank you for joining me and Ampu. I found this video to be very interesting because you see how a man changed his life by starting to go to the gym, starting to have some principles that he abides by. And you see the effect that it has on weak, pathetic women like these. All right? And the bit I was going to say before I started laughing at her talking to substitute men with plants is that I do sort of sympathize with her, because from her perspective, she is the victim. She just doesn't understand, guys. She's so unintelligent that she doesn't understand how life works. But it's her problem, you know. This is where my sympathy kind of goes away. You are a brainwashed, indoctrinated little child woman. That's what you are. You don't understand how dating works. You don't understand how the gender dynamics roles work. You just don't understand it. You're following this instant gratification path of sleeping around with multiple men, yada yada, and she thinks that giving some man the cookies that his grandma made is going to satisfy him, when clearly this man was looking for something more. He was looking to improve his life because he was feeling pathetic, and you did none of that. You advised him to keep going to see that shitty therapist that clearly wasn't working. You did nothing to improve his life. You did nothing to help him other than being there and cuddling with him or whatever crap. And so he found his own way of getting out of there, alright? And this is also the reason why this man never liked you and never will. Because you're a lefty, stupid, indoctrinated feminist. And he found something more in a Christian woman that probably understands dating so much more. So gentlemen, thank you for watching. Leave me your thoughts and I'll see you next time. Have a good one.